Welcome to the Welsh Yogi Podcast.
Okay, welcome everyone to another episode of the Welsh Yogi Podcast. Here we got myself, Gopal, we have Paddy Gopi, and Tarakanatha Prabhu. So
hello everybody.
There's the camera.
Oh, it's over there. I'm looking at myself and waving to myself in the Gopi.
So we thought we'd have a little question and answer session, little interview session with Tarakanatha, the original Welsh Yogi, and just to get to know him a little bit more and see what's inspired him over the years to flourish in spiritual life. Like that. We've had a lot of people wanting to get to know him a little bit more, so let's
I think one person asked. By a lot, he means one. One person.
No, everyone's dying to know. So, Paddy, you prepared some questions, right?
Yep, just getting them out.
We've been practicing some...
What have you been practicing? To hijack me, ambush me a bit, or stump the speaker with some questions that he knows nothing about. Okay.
I kind of wanted to ask you basically, you know, when you were coming into Krishna consciousness originally, you know, were there any like defining moments that really struck you where like you were really feeling like, okay, I think this is something I'm really going to do with my life? Do you know what I mean? Like...
No.
No, basically. I don't think it was any flash of blinding lights, you know, when the heavens opened up and I heard these voices and, you know, like there's people you heard. I'm very wary of people who do that, by the way. You know. It wasn't... Obviously, you can feel that there's something inside, you know, that's completely dissatisfied with my life, you know, and it's just normal, mundane life, working and family, and always thinking there has to be more than this, and I couldn't get inspired, even though I had the kids and the family and the job, and just it wasn't. You know, I remember going along when he was going out with the friends on the weekend, going out, just going along to be. Going along to, what did they say? Go along to get along.
Yeah.
You're just going along because you're just going with the crowd. You know, I'd gone through all the, gone through it, and I become disillusioned with it. It was the same thing, just like on a loop. So I'd gone out and done all that, and then I think I'm just going, because that's what we do. That's what everyone tries to do on the weekend, go out, get drunk, cause mischief, and whatever.
In one sense, you'd already like checked out.
Yeah,
you know,
I checked out, but then it was like I said, it was going along to get along because everyone else is kind of was doing that, and that's kind of, I think a lot of people feel like that now. You know, it was interesting. I walked past a few years ago, and I just walked past the pub I used to go in, and the doors were open. There was a few guys still. This is like over 20 years later after I dropped out. And they're still in the same place, in the same chairs, playing the same cards. They're probably still there now. That's like almost 40 years later. But it's like over 20. They were still doing this on that loop. So it's like material life's like that. It's just you're on a loop. You're doing the same thing, and it's like you're looking for ways to freshen it up. And
I think because a lot of people, I think, are attracted to your personality and your story because you're very relatable. So there's, like you were saying, there's, you had the job, you had the family, you were going along to get along. And maybe a lot of people, especially in Wales, especially in the valleys, probably maybe even see a bit of themselves in you. Think, oh yeah, that's you very much, you haven't, you still remain very authentic to who you are. And I think that's what's maybe very interesting to people is like, well, how did do you make this like transition from one of us to something that seems very, very alien culture, very, very different. I mean, were you searching, like when Paddy's question is, did you, when you opened the Bhagavad Gita or first came into Krishna consciousness, were you instantly like, wow, this is true, I've found what I wanted, or did it take some time to convincing, or was it a natural?
It took a little time. I remember, I think, as soon as I read it, I thought, first thing I thought, this is just, it's like, wasn't nothing new. And we've heard this a lot, with, especially when new people come or first read the books. It's like, this is like nothing new. This is something, wow, this is like, I'm remembering this. This is already there. And that's a common theme, I think, comes through with, people who first come into Krishna consciousness, or people read Srila Prabhupada's books. It's like, it's already there. And then we thought, wow, it's like you're remembering, you're not learning nothing new. That was the first thing that struck me. And then I remember reading, I can't remember, it was one of Prabhupada's, I think it was the King of Knowledge, Raja Vidya, one of Srila Prabhupada's introductory books. And the first thing I really related to was Prabhupada says, the suffering is due to the body and the mind. All our suffering. Everything we feel, all the pain, all the misery is either physically or it's mentally. But then he says, you're not the body and you're not the mind. And the first thing I remember thinking, wow, there's hope. And not this, the thing that's caused the life that was causing all our suffering, which is the cause for all our suffering, by the way, it's either physical or mental. And then he explains that there's a soul, there's a body, there's the physical body, then you have that subtle body, which is the mind. And then there's the soul. That's who the real person is, yourself. And there's actually nothing to do with the body, nothing to do with the mind. So you're above all this suffering. And then I read later, then this relief. That's the first thing I started to feel. Oh, wow. So there's hope. I can get out of this. Because when you're stuck in that loop, you think, what is this all about? Why have I got to suffer? Why am I feeling like this? I've got a family, I got a job, I got this, I got what's going on? You're still trying to piece it. Well, at least I was trying to piece it, fix it, put it together. Trying to string it together. And I thought, what's going on? Why am I feeling like this? And I remember reading, and that made sense to me. That just made, wow, okay, there's hope. I can't get away from this suffering. I can't get away from this, this humdrum life. That was the kind of first. I thought, yeah, okay. I could see myself, I was kind of getting drawn in then. It wasn't like, said a flash of blinding lights and the voice, heavens opened and, you, Teddy, you shall be, thou shalt be, thou not, the chosen one. And his name shall be. So I guess it was kind of something like that. And it kind of, I remember my first faith crisis. Is when I was with a Mars bar. Because I used to love Mars bars. I'd have about half a dozen a day or something. I would really like Mars bars.
You relate to that, Paddy?
Yeah, I got a sweet tooth. As they say, I have a sweet tooth. And then we found out that Mars bar had eggs. Someone told me. I said, "What do you mean? What do you mean? Why are you saying that? What are you trying to do to me? Don't tell me." Because just, with meat, fish or eggs, we don't eat meat, fish or eggs. So someone said to me, because I'm walking, chomping my they got eggs. And I said, "Why are you saying that?" "No, I don't believe it." So I kind of went, "Oh, no."
So you gave them up?
Well, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. Oh, yeah, well, just threw it away like that. No, and I would never look back. I was like this. Mars bars.
And I got to finish this one now.
Yeah, I had to finish that one. And then it was Mars bar or bead chanting. That's what it was. What do I give up here? And it was an existential faith crisis. It was really was that. Do I chant or do I just or do I go along with my Mars bars? I could.
And you picked the chanting, I guess.
Well, eventually,
You could have been eating Mars bars all these years.
I could have been still up in the valley chomping on Mars bars if it was. But that's what it was, an existential. It was a faith crisis. I mean, it may sound nothing, but it was. It's like, it was real to me. It wasn't. You look back, you think it's ridiculous, but it was real to me. And so we all get these kind of, when you first come, these things, all these little, faith crises and tests and things, because that's what becoming Krishna consciousness means. It means you're becoming Krishna. It means you're becoming conscious of Krishna. So that means, sometimes we change our activities or we give up things, and a Mars bar is not that big a thing to give up. But it's still because we've got attached. If we become attached in our minds to big things, little things, it's that attachment to the way I've always done this. I've always had the Mars bar. Why should I give up this for God? What's this got to do with anything?
Would you say that that's like a major part of deepening your Krishna consciousness is when you have to start like releasing these things that you're like attached to in one sense? Like
it's a slow, but yeah, it's a slow because you're giving up things which you don't really need to carry around and which we think we need to carry. Like I think I had to have a Mars bar. And I was prepared, well, at least my mind was prepared to give up the future spiritual life for the Mars bar because I was attached to a Mars bar. So it's the attachment just to a Mars bar. It's like ridiculous. But if when your faith is weak like that, that's when if you that's what it says. The faith is it's a Bhakti lata bead. It's a seed in the heart. It's like a seedling, a sapling, and it's really supple and and it's brittle. So you have to protect it. So that's where you're supposed. So if it's not protected, it can easily get kind of broken. And because I had no one, I was on my own. I had just no one to tell me what to do.
And that's another interesting point as well, is how, like a lot of us, when we come to Bhakti, we have a whole crowd. Like we often say, it takes a village to raise a child. So we have a whole crowd of other practitioners helping us to do the right thing, and when we have questions or even crises, or if we need help, we try and be there for each other. But it's a very unique and interesting dynamic to be just on your own in a lot of ways, right? And especially at that time, obviously there was no mobile telephones, there's no video calls or internet or anything like that. So
but a fax, well, we don't have a fax machine.
How did you stay in contact with devotees, if at all, and what was do you have a saving grace, or what was the...
I guess my saving grace is obviously from, the Srila Prabhupada and the mission, the chanting, but I was going to say something and I forgot what I was going to say, sorry.
I think we can edit stuff out. So. We'll splice it all together.
It was related to that point, and I can't remember. Oh, to validate, yeah, that's what I was going to say, because I had no one to validate that I was doing right. Like you said, there's no infrastructure. I got this doubt. Should I be a Mars bar? And I think it's ridiculous, throw the Mars bar away. But I didn't have anyone. I had this whole battle going on in my mind. It was just me and my mind, and my mind was saying, why are you doing this? And then I was wrestling. I went, but yeah, you like Mars bars, why are you doing that? But then we don't eat eggs, it is, and it's like it's breaking the regulative principles. And I mean, he's only a small, it's just a bit of egg, but it was a whole thing. So yeah, there was just highlighting that there was nothing to validate that I was doing right or wrong. I remember at one point thinking, am I going nuts here? Because there's no one to bounce off, like you said. There was no one. I remember getting up before the kids were getting up in the morning, and I was just chanting downstairs thinking, am I going mad? I was walking back and forth like in my living room, just up and down, up and down, thinking, am I going mad? Am I going really crazy?
And did you begin chanting because you'd read it in Srila Prabhupada's books, or had someone introduced you to the chanting?
Yeah, it was both. It was, as we know, I've told this story before, a little bit before. I don't know if we're going to get much into it. We can do more podcasts. But it was Bindu, who was Buzz at the time. It was from, Buzz. His name was Buzz because he was an old hippie and he was always buzzing off his face. Love him. He was. But, I mean, not so much introduced. He introduced me to Krishna consciousness. I told him, remember, give me a book, because I was always Teddy from the valleys, eating me, playing rugby, running around wild up in the valleys, Like you say, take the boy out to the valleys, but you can't take the valley out to the boy. And when he was saying, just what you see is what you get, I mean, in a nice way, for the better or worse. But Buzz, what else was I saying?
Because you always Terry from the valleys, he was like got you into the chanting and stuff. But at least that's what we were asking about, right? How did you get into?
Yeah, he got us in. He was into. No, it robbed Sam Rampa because there was Terry playing rugby. He's always trying to get us in. He was trying to get us to be vegetarian.
Ooh, Lobsam Rampa.
Yeah, it was a Buddhist thing. I found out he was a fake then, actually. There was some guy in Cornwall, and he was writing up all these mystical things. So he was trying to get me to... I know he was trying to get us all to be vegetarian, because he was dabbling back and forth, vegetarian, Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam. I don't know what he was all over the place, love him. You know, he was trying to link and join all religions, and we should be vegetarian, and we used to, he used to try, but we used to fail miserably because we're all in the pub, you know, all smoke, having a spliff and a pint, and he's telling us that we should be there. We all laugh at him and just make fun at him, you know. So then he took us to the manor. That's how we introduced. But then when he went into prison, he asked me to go and get a book. Anyways, the whole story of that, I ended up in London, and then coming back, I read the Bhagavad Gita on the train, and that's when that's when I started to, okay, this makes a bit more, it's okay. I thought I should try it. That's all it was. It wasn't, this is for me. It wasn't like, this is it for me. I found my calling. It wasn't like that straight away. Felt it was right, but and I just started chanting. Because as I was saying, I didn't have nothing to validate me, so I just started chanting.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's just giving someone enough faith to just give it a go, basically.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, they don't have to...
And that's the power of Prabhupada's books. That's the power of Srila Prabhupada in his books. Is give this a try. I remember reading, at least, because he read in the introduction in the Bhagavad Gita, he said, at least theoretically accept Krishna as God, and then try it, just like any other science. You have to have a theory to start to try. Okay, you have to have a theory, and then you have the methodology, then you have the results. So okay, theory is God, Krishna is God. To realize that, the method is to chant, and then you can realize God. In simple terms, that's really simplistic terms, but yeah, so that's how I kind of... And then it was... And I was tough in the early days, especially with the kids and everything. That was another whole, you know... I thought I always tell this story to my father. Because not long after I became a devotee, my car got stolen. And because my old man, he's valuable. If you met my old man, you know where I get it from. You know, because he was like a wild man of the mountains up there, and it's all rationale of why my car got stolen. It's just a random car got just random stolen. It was, you know, and that could happen to anyone. Was because I become a devotee and I gone soft, and you knew it. They knew it. That's why they come
become weak.
You become weak. Yeah, you become a wimp.
People are taking advantage of you now.
As you used to say, you become a puff. That's what you become. You become soft. Mm-hmm. Why are you doing this? You know. See, and they know this. They wouldn't have took this before. They wouldn't have took your car before.
The Andersons were respected in my time.
Yeah, you've heaped shame on the family. That's what you've done.
Did you face much opposition when you first got into it from family and?
Family, not so much me. No one was going to say much to me, were they? You know, they'd behind my back a snigger or something, but no one. I don't think anyone was, you know, going to come up and say it. But from the kids and something, the kids was sometimes they'll get, you know, a little embarrassed. And like I went to a PTA and Luke said, I think, because you've got a seeker, so he said, make sure you wear a hat. I said, cool. You know, I said, wear a baseball hat and camera. You know, they just, you know, make sure that, because like now it's acceptable, we mainstream, it's not a problem at all, and it's all acceptable, and that's one benefit for this kind of generation. It's really acceptable of others' faiths and others' cultures, but at that time it was, you know, really weird. It was really weird. And I remember I was playing tennis with him, and there was some older kids, Carl must have been about, I don't know, 14, 15 maybe, something, and some older kids were like 16, 17, 18, they were shouting something. So I was playing tennis. For me, it wasn't, and they were making fun of Carl. You know, I thought, oh, what do I do? First of all, it was, for me, I wasn't bothered. But then I thought of the story with Narad Muni, and when the snake, when Narad Muni initiated the cobra, he said, "No, don't bite people. I'll initiate you, but you can't go biting people." So then when the snake was going out, all the kids were coming throw sticks and stones and make fun of him. So he went back to Narad Muni. He said, "I know you give me initiation, and you told me not to bite them, but now they're all just making fun of me and attacking me." Then he said, "Show your hood. Just show your hood." So that's why I walked up to them, and I had the tennis racket in my hand, and I pushed the tennis. I just showed my hood. I just showed the hood. I said, "I'll make you eat it if you talk like that again." Something like that. But that wasn't for me. That was for the kids, just to say, okay, my father look after me. They were just that. Don't be frightened of this. They all freaked and kids. I wasn't going to do anything. But they were just, like this. You just like the copper. You show the hood. You're not going to bite, but it's just frightening.
Yeah. Especially if people are bullying and they're bullies. They're bullies.
And they were just kids making fun. And it was just it's not because kids can be cruel to one another, can't they? Sometimes. So that was kind of things like that. It was kind of interesting that. But personally, no one kind of come up and said to me. In fact, now they come up after years, many years. They always say this. Well, there must be something in this now. You've been doing this all this time. So example is always better than precept. So people appreciate. There must be some, especially those that I was, that have been on that loop, and they can see that you're happy. You can see their life, and they'll say, "Wow, there must be something in this."
Yeah.
They appreciate. They do start to appreciate.
Yeah, I think my father thought I was nuts when I started chanting, and we took a day out to Brecon. It's like an hour and a half drive there or something from Swansea, and all the way there I was doing my rounds, and all the way back, like one time I went to my dad, "Look what I've learned chanting." So he was like, "Okay." So I just sat on the floor. I said, "Watch, Dad." I just sat on the floor, closed my eyes, went Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and. But then years later, he said, "You know what? I wish I'd done it myself." After he'd been to Rath Yatra, he's tasted, saw the community, he saw the change in me. He realised then actually, it's actually the way to go.
So many families are like that when they see the longevity, isn't it? The people, like your mother, they come into the programs and just because they can see how happy you are, they see, "Well, there's something in this. This is real. It's real." They can see it. Their experience. That's vicarious. They're experiencing through you. They can see that you were happy. Wow.
And I think most people are actually nice. Like sometimes we get worried, like, "Oh, I wonder what people are going to think." So, but actually, most people, actually just want each other to be happy. Your average Joe on the street actually does wish well to most people. And I think sometimes we get too caught up in... Like, my mother told me when I was younger, because I used to get, mental in school, all the kids are doing this. She said, "Look, everyone else is they're so actually preoccupied with worrying about themselves and what everyone thinks of them, that they're not actually worried about other people." Everyone... Do you see what I'm saying? Everyone is so self-conscious that actually people aren't really thinking about each other. They're just more worried about themselves. You just don't need to worry about what other people think, and you just need to... Follow your dreams. Have courage of your conviction. Yeah. Like I say, it was on... I guess looking back, when I think, I must have been pretty brave. Didn't think I was at the time, because when there was no one else, I didn't think that I'm doing the brave thing or anything. But if I seen someone doing it, I think, wow, that's pretty brave of you to be on your own with a family and still practice Krishna consciousness. Yeah, it's real rock and roll. It's real punk rock.
Looking back a bit, now looking back, and if I seen someone else do, but at the time I didn't think like that. I was just like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I guess my nature is a bit like that. If I want to do something, then I'll do it, or I don't. If I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it either. There's no kind of in betweens. So I guess that's my kind of nature. Ramita dad said that the Hare Krishnas are the real punks. Is that what he said?
Yeah. They're the real society rebels.
Yeah. We're misfits. We're a bunch of... Because we don't fit in. We try to fit in.
But change society.
But first change yourself. That's what... I mean, there's so many, inspirational quotes. Was it Gandhi? be the change that you want to see. But we're always waiting for someone else to change. But we've got to change. Society's not going to change. Or someone's not going to change.
I got a quote.
Have you?
I share a quote.
So you should see a doctor about that if you've got a quote. There's cream you can put on that now.
You indulge me for...
Go on. Why not?
Right, so this is Theodore Roosevelt. I think he was a... Right, so... Ready?
Ready.
It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. So some people might say, "Oh, why are you doing this? Why can't you just follow the rest of us?"
Yeah.
But actually, no. I'm bold and I'm doing what I want to do. And if I fail, fine. But at least I've tried. And if you succeed, then
What do they say? I don't know many. There's some statistics, but like 10% of people, the real successful people, at least materially, because they're not frightened to try things. Not everyone's going to do it. A lot of people that fit into that, they never try, they never fail. They just stick in life of mediocrity.
it's better to try something and fail.
And to not have tried at all. It's what they say, better to love and lost than not have loved at all. But you should be trying. You should be trying.
Because if you fast forward on your deathbed, you might have regretted, like, I wish I'd took up chanting instead of, you wouldn't be regret. You won't regret. You're not going to regret, like, I wish I carried on eating Mars bars throughout my life.
Well, and equally, I couldn't see where it was going to go. I didn't think, we're going to open temples and have communities. It wasn't like that. It's not as if. But if you follow that journey, if you follow, okay, your instinct, follow. Let's see where it goes, and stick to it. It's important. Is longevity, not just you got to through the thick and the thin, as they say. There's a lot of lean times as well.
Maybe that's another podcast because there's a lot to get into. I'd love because we have some headings here. One is we want to know more about the T Krishna project, the community you've built, and what sort of needs it fulfills.
That could be another one. Have we covered any of those? You said in the first one. What have
we've covered those. Yeah.
Well, there's at some point there's a bridge though, right, between getting into Krishna consciousness and because you have to. Maybe you touched upon it by saying like you either do something or you don't. You said that was your nature.
Yeah, if I was into something, it's like when in sport. When I was into rugby, I was into it. That was my life. I was absorbing it. I'd be training and going to trials and then I wasn't. I couldn't be bothered about it. That was it. I remember I had some trials. It was some Welsh. I think it was. Anyway, they came for me.
It's a very unusual kind of decision.
Because I decided I didn't want to. I wasn't fulfilling that life. I played rugby. I was going and everybody in the it was amateur at that time, but it wasn't professional. I think that they always saying it was you could go somewhere where but I didn't kind of. I didn't pursue all the rugby. All the people, something this to say, you're just wasting your talent and this and that. But I wasn't into it then. So I was kind of. That was before I became a devote. I was trying to figure out what was going on. It wasn't just. As Buzz used to say in those immortal words, you're chasing a pig's blood around the field.
And the rugby.
Because apparently years ago they'd have I don't know what the board is just not here. There was a bladder inside like a tire. Tires of inner tubes. So they used to apparently to blow the leather, ball up. Oh, yeah. They'd have to blow. That's just it was apparently a pig's bladder. So as you see, you're a bunch of grown men chasing a pig's bladder around the field. That's what you want to grow up because he used to hate rugby. He used to come. He was a typical example of going along to get along. He used to hate rugby, but we'd all come down from the valleys down to Cardiff to come and watch a rugby.
Cardiff Arms Park.
And there was a Cardiff Arms Park at the time. Yeah.
If someone is listening to this that it can,
Wants to play
recognize,
rugby.
not quite, that can recognize they're in that kind of stuck in that rut of like going along to get along, and they're kind of like, what would what would you say to them?
Come to T. Krishna, come to the calf, and come to find out how to get out of that rut, how to get off that loop, how to have a more purposeful life. What's the purpose of life? Well, we don't even think about it. Like, okay, Vaisheshika Prabhu was saying, I'm a human. Do you ever think what a human? We don't think. What's a human supposed to do? We just go. But what's the purpose of life? Why am I here? Why do I have to suffer? I don't want to suffer. Why do I have to suffer? But we should be asking these questions. Why am I doing? If it's not fulfilling, then change it up. If you're not leading a fulfilling life, come and find out. At least come and try it. Just come and check it out. What have you got to lose? You're not fulfilled. You're feeling unfulfilled. Just come and check. Come to Atma Cap. No, it's Govinda's now. We've got it on Queen Street in what's the arcade?
Capital.
On the Capital. Or come to Bute Street and see us. Go into Cardiff and Christy to see one of the boys or one of the girls out there giving books out, and just ask, okay, I want to know the purpose of life. I want to know why do I have to suffer? Come and be with us. Come and speak to us. And see if it's satisfying. See, find out. Ask the question, and then you'll get the answer. If you don't ask the questions, you're not going to get the answer. You might think it's not for you, but you'll never know till you come and try. Just come and ask. Why do I have to suffer? And loneliness is a big thing, though, you were saying, isn't it? And what was I listening to? Or something someone said the other day, because there's such this fear, it's called Baya, there's this fear that when I was a kid, and kids growing up, I guess, to the 80s and 90s, used to go, when I was a kid, I used to go out and play, and I'd go out in the morning after breakfast, and my mother, I wouldn't see me, I'd be back like when it gets dark. I'd just be out, when I'd just go out, there was no fear. Now kids don't go anywhere like that because they don't go out and explore things. They don't get. So he said they're not exploring, So now they're exploring on the internet, and it's a far more dangerous place to be going into exploring the internet.
And Vaisheshika Prabhu was saying, wasn't he, about he was giving an example of the community that he's built in America in Silicon Valley, and how everyone is just like locked away in their homes. And what he does, he goes out with the children. The children go and they knock on door to door, and they knock on people's doors, and they, present them books and on spiritual life and ask them how they're doing. And that's one, they have many realizations from doing this. They learn how to act, speak with people. They get street smarts. They learn to handle things like rejection when someone slammed the door on them, and one of them was hurt. Why has this person just rejected me? And then the senior lady who was with the kids took them all, and they all discussed about how that feels and why people would reject someone else, and this person must be going through something. And these are just kids, but they're learning, they're digesting all of these things. And
life skills, really life skills. What they don't get because they just retreat onto the internet and they go there.
And even these kids would see one of their realizations was just how alone and lonely everyone is.
It's a big thing. It's a real big thing.
And most people are so happy to see these kids. Oh, hi, how you doing? And
she said, he said, never seen so many people at my door because they're meeting real people, not just on the internet. You're actually interacting with real people. So and it's
people need to meet each other again, isn't it? And
people need to socialize, but in a nice way that you can fulfill and find a purpose. Or find why am I here, and discuss with like-minded people what's going on. What's the solution to the problem? Birds of a feather flock together. You've got to be around like-minded people. If you want to become rich, you've got to go and find rich people. If you want to be spiritual, you've got to go and find spiritual. You have to go and find someone who can give you the answer. So it's the power of association, who you hang out with. So you need to find those people, at least, so they can be more spiritual, at least have a more balanced view on life, not just, plan A, material is just be successful materially, and if you don't, there's something wrong with you. No, there's more to life than define success. What is success then, materially, but You can be a failure materially, but spiritually you can be successful. Because it doesn't depend on anything material. You don't have to have material things to be successful. You can be have nothing and be successful. Completely, and lead a fulfilled life. But we're not taught that. Plan A is you have to have things, and if you don't have things, you're lacking, and then you're trying to keep up with the Joneses or whatever it is. It's the rat race, as we used to call it. It's the rat race. It's a crazy world.
Well, if anyone listening does want any help, or if you have any questions for Tarakanatha, please get in touch. And also, soon we're going to have a special Q&A live audience session with Tarakanatha. So anyone who wants to in person can come, and we'll have a group of people. It'll be nice.
We should record it then if we do that. Yeah,
it's a nice little
podcast
situation.
Yeah.
And you can come forward with any questions and meet personally. And I think
meet the devotees.
Wants to meet personally. We all should meet in person a lot more. So please, we're here to help you. We're here to serve you. And
definitely come and check it out. It might not be for you, but come and check it out. What's to lose? You lose an hour of your time. What's that at best? That's at worst for you. You lose an hour or so. And you might think it's not for you because that's such a big thing. Or that could be the best hour you invested in your life.
Yeah. Think of the time that you waste scrolling.
Yeah, exactly.
Take that out, and you might as well come check out the Hare Krishnas. There's one nice gentleman who came on last Saturday evening in Swansea, and he came for a program that was probably pitched to people who are a bit more familiar with Krishna consciousness and japa than maybe where he was. But he actually got a lot from it, because he said he just came with a completely open mind and open heart, and he was just ready for a new experience, and that's what he wanted to try, and that's what he got. So I think, just if you just want to be open for a new experience, then please come along to any of our programs, or we'll give you get in touch with the podcast online, or we'll send news about this Q&A audience session with Tarakanatha. We'll be coming soon also.
Yep. We have events across Cardiff and Swansea weekly. So you just check them out on the website, www.tkrishna.cymru. Cymru?
She's not Welsh, is she? You've been here longer, you're a Taff S. You must be a Taff S. There's Taffs and there's Taff S's, isn't it? You're a Taff S. Now, honorary. She's from the West Country, by the way.
Your family's from Wales. You're Welsh lineage, right?
There's the connection.
Yeah.
Actually, my family, my father was English. He's from Surrey, so I've got that. Yeah, for sure. So we have lots of connections.
And all of our events we serve dinner at the end, so it's a great time to actually then connect with all the guests that come and just meet people, and it's a really nice environment.
Definitely.
And the best food you'll ever have, actually.
It's the best time. Okay, thank you everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welsh Yogi Podcast.
Bye.
Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami